Live. Okay, awesome. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Alex. I'm joined by Camilla Ainsworth, otherwise known as Mills, here next to me. How you doing?
Hi, everyone. Yoo-hoo. If you watch The Apprentice, you'll appreciate that. If you didn't watch it, you'll just think I'm really strange.
I was going to say, show us what you're drinking. There you go. It's not M+LK+, is it?
Yeah, it's on brand. It's on brand, though. I've already had my M+LK+ for the day.
Kind of let you go with that one, okay.
Away, Alex.
Right, well, look, first of all, everybody, thank you very much indeed for joining us today. Mills is up at the Costa del Blackburn, I believe, whereas I'm down in Crawley Dorset. I can see there's a load of people joined already. Emma from Aberdeen, Scotland, Jane from London, Trevor from Plymouth, Barry from Samlesbury. Heard of that one? Salisbury? No? Okay. But thank you, everybody. I can hear a little bit of an echo. Try and work around that.
Let's see.
Okay. Hello, Lauren from Warwickshire as well. A lot of echo of your voice. Speakers.
Let's see. Is there still an echo now? I've just moved.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, now it's better. Right, okay. Hopefully, it might just be the internet connection. I'm on my dad owns an internet company, so I'll give him some jip over that. I'll say it's rubbish.
We have doing these, and it does depend on. Everybody's got a different internet connection, wherever they are in the country, speaking to them, and when everyone's jumping on as well.
Oh, echoes on your side. I'm taking the blame for this as well.
I know. I can hear my voice coming out in your end. It's really weird. Yeah. Anyway, listen, guys. I've been doing these non-stop. I don't know why happening at all. I'm going to shut down my other.
I feel bad for shaming my dad's internet company now.
No, I haven't got anything else open. Okay. Anyway, we will move forward with it. So you might know Camilla from a certain TV program, which we won't talk about very much. But she's a fan of milk, vegan nut milk wine. Might Camilla have earphones for you, Alex, when we hear from her side?
Headphones.
Not a bad suggestion.
Yeah, not a bad suggestion at all. Let me have a look if I've got any headphones. Right, 2 minutes, I'll get some headphones. 1 second.
No problem. So I've been doing these 3-4 a day for the last month. I haven't had any echo. You can hear both my earphones with the mouth move. Slightly odd, guys. Okay, I'm going to reboot. Don't know why that would be. Okay, Mills is just getting headsets. Earphones. I think she's got some heads, in fact. I'm going to lock that down, see if that makes that difference on my end. Okay. Let's stay with us, guys. And we will roll with this very shortly. Okay. We've got to shut that down as well. So any questions that you get, can you pop them in the chat function there on the right-hand side. The reverb is going to be pretty epic, actually. You're right. You don't want to have these things. Do a bit of Tom Jones, big Cardiff. No, I've been doing these every week, 3 times a day with a phone on as well. But haven't had any problem today. So that's why I'm wondering, is there any speakers? Camilla's end. Okay. I just cannot see what to do this, guys. I can hear Camilla back to us.
I'm not actually sure. I've got these from an iPhone, but I don't know whether they go into a laptop because they've got this different thing.
Yeah.
So we might have to just try it out.
I wonder whether we log out and log back in here even. Should we try that?
Yeah, we'll try that.
Log out your end. I'll do the same.
Okay.
We'll come up live again, guys. I'm going to try and sort of that for you because it can be annoying. Okay, you can still hear echo. There's no echo. Can everybody hear me fine? Yeah, exactly. Right, I'm blaming Mills. Exactly. Right, she's for it. I know. Like I say, I've been doing 3 or 4 of these every day for the last month on here. So there you go. And the phone's still on as well. But post up some questions, guys. Any questions that you've got? Kind of want to focus on M+LKPLUS rather than the Apprentice, but I'm sure there's going to be a couple of questions that come in there, especially because I've had Sabrina Stocker and Karina Lepore on recently. So I'm just going to disappear and come back again as well, get Camilla to come back on the screen as well. So bear with us. Going to come right back at you in 2 seconds, and it will all be good if she sorts it out her end. Shh, don't let her know that. Okay. Okay. Let's find Camilla on my list of people here to invite back in. There she is. Okay, invite back on screen. Okay, let us know where you're watching this from, everybody. Had a few people post up there. Let us know where you are in the world, where you are in the UK. Got a couple of questions there already from people. Definitely not singing a song, guys. San Diego. That definitely beats Bristol and Colchester, much as I like both of those places, having been to both. Go to Bristol very regularly. Brother lives there. Trevor's in Plymouth. Richie's in Colchester. Nearly went to university there. Went to Bath instead. Livia, Coventry. Yes, been to Coventry as well. Best friend went to uni there. Okay, so inviting Camille back on to the screen. Christina's from Stamford in Lincolnshire. Crouch End, North London. Would be Hertfordshire, but obviously working from home. Yes, aren't we all? Had to move a little office into the front room here. Chislehurst in Kent. I'm going to re-prompt Camille. I'm just going to send her a little text message as well.
I'm here.
Hey.
Hello, sorry. I was just trying to fiddle around with things. Hopefully that's a little bit better. Played around with the internal microphone.
Okay. We've got people as far away as San Diego in the States watching here.
Amazing.
Coventry, Plymouth, Colchester, Bristol, Northern Ireland, Lincolnshire, London.
London, love it.
Chislehurst in Kent. Yeah, we figured out it was your end, so you'll have to blame your dad's, because
Yeah,
I was on here on my own.
I heard you blaming me. I heard you when I wasn't there. Don't worry. I'm always listening, Alex.
All right. Well, should we talk about the 5K that I challenged you for that you haven't done yet?
We weren't going to mention that. We said we weren't going to mention too much about the Apprentice. We said we weren't going to mention the 5K. It's on my list to do. I'm not a runner. I'm not a runner, honestly. I hate doing things that I'm not good at. Disclaimer. It's not a good trait.
You do a lot of health and fitness, though. I've been seeing you. We're going to talk about pathway to prime and what you're doing to stay fit and healthy, both up here and everywhere else.
Absolutely. Yeah. I do a lot of sport, and that's the thing that people think. They think because you do a certain type of exercise that you'll be good at running and good at everything, but no one's good at everything. Absolutely not. And it's annoying because I did used to do cross country at school.
Me too.
But you've got to, it's something that you've got to practice, isn't it? Like riding a bike. And they say that you never forget how to ride a bike, but I went out on a bike ride last week, and I do think you can forget how to ride a bike. That is an exclusive.
Did you come off?
There. Pardon? Did I come off? I'm not going to tell you that on this webinar in front of all of these people.
Got tangled up with a goat or two, probably.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. So, do you want me to talk through pathway to prime? I don't know if anyone's...
First off, tell us what happened. So, coronavirus, COVID-19, lockdown. Where were you when you first heard about it, and what did you do, both personally and business-wise? Because I know that you were building up to a new product launch, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So there was whispers of the dreaded C, and that initially caused me to order more of my product than I usually would have done. So that was kind of when I first heard whispers. You've always got to pre-plan with your stock, because obviously I kind of foresaw that there might be problems with getting stock after all this happened, borders shutting, all of that. So pre-ordered when I heard whispers of coronavirus, and then I went away on holiday. I was in Mexico, and I was blissfully unaware of the situation at home, really. Obviously, I was keeping up with the news, but when I went to Mexico, there was no talk of corona over there at all. And then I came back from Mexico, and it was like I had come home to a different country. People were wearing masks, there was gloves, and I hadn't been away long at all. Working on whilst on holiday, of course, it was a working holiday. Always. And I came back and I was just shell-shocked. We'd been preparing our third product launch for months. I have got to be really honest with this third product. It has taken so much longer than any other products that I've ever brought to market, mainly because the packaging's different. It's a completely different concept. That's all I'm going to give away. I don't want to give away too many sneak peeks. And luckily, when I was in Mexico, we'd launched on Amazon. So we had that Amazon presence because none of us knew how much the high street was going to be affected by coronavirus. So luckily, we had that platform online, and we also have an online shop. But we had to postpone our third product launch, which really, really hurt. I'm not going to lie. It was a really tough decision, but I just thought it's not the time to be launching a third product, especially when it's had a lot of hype like the product has. I felt really bad because we are a little bit behind schedule anyway, and then obviously this has pushed us even further behind. So I feel like I've been teasing this third product for years, it feels like, but it's only been months. But as a business owner, you constantly have to innovate and bring new products for people to remain interested in your business and your product. So it was a really tough decision, but it was the best one because nobody's thinking about buying. Well, they weren't for the first few weeks. No one's attention is on new products. It's on toilet roll. It's on hand sanitizer.
Like pasta.
So pasta. If anyone has any pasta, please email, because I need some. So yeah, it's been a real journey, even though it's only been 3 weeks. I would say that we've been in the thick of it. Highs, lows, everything in between. And I feel like until this week I've been doing a lot of firefighting, so working all the hours till 11 p.m. just trying to maintain the revenue that we had before. So a lot of my friends are like, oh, you're working so much, like this is great, loads of money coming in, like more. And I'm like, no, it's maintaining and surviving. So that's on the business level. So we've managed to keep things going. We've got Amazon, we've got online. Holland & Barrett is a little bit different in that they're only prioritizing vitamins and things like that. So we haven't got a major listing products wise in their stores. We've got stock that's been there before the virus, but obviously they're not ordering new stock. So that hit us a little bit. But immediately with any problem, I just think that's annoying. It's out of everyone's hands. It's not Holland & Barrett's fault. It's not my fault. It's not anyone's fault. This has happened, but it's how we deal with it next. So be annoyed for 2 seconds, 2 minutes max, and then think solution. You know, what do we do now? So obviously Amazon, other online shops. We've got loads of different ideas flitting around at the moment within the team. So so that's on the business level. And then personal level, I like to think my resilience is pretty high after a few different things. Running a business for 2 years, obviously you do grow a thick skin and not much phases me anymore. The worries I had were more for other people in my family, or, you know, vulnerable people, as opposed to me personally. I feel like the first week I was a little bit like, what is this routine or lack of routine? And I did lack a little bit of focus, I have to admit. Obviously I still had whiplash from the fact that I'd come back to a different country completely. So, but with all things, you've got to take a step back and think, this isn't going to work for me long term, being all over the place and a bit scatterbrained, especially running a business or having a new project. So I thought, what can I do to help recalibrate myself to keep me on track? And you love that word, don't you? Recalibration.
I love that word.
It sounds great. Say it out loud. You'll love
Recalibrate.
it. Recalibration. Just sounds so smart, doesn't it? But yeah, I hardly ever use that word, but that's the best word to describe it. So there's these practices that I've incorporated into this Pathway to Prime plan that I've called it. These are all things that I was doing before anyway, but not consecutively for 30 days, which is what the plan proposes. So I just thought, I need something, and why not share it with other people in the hope that can maybe help them align the focus and get back on track. And there's no better feeling than ticking off a day, or, you know, and moving on to the next day. And it's a pretty achievable plan, I would say. I've not made it ridiculous. There's no diet plan or anything like that, because I'm not a nutritionist. I own a nut milk business. I don't want to claim to be an expert at things, but the 7 disciplines that I've put on the plan are things that I've used, that I've researched, that very successful people use. So there's a lot of research behind these 7 concepts. And there's been loads of people that have been trying it. I was really overwhelmed. I can't post them all every day, because people who aren't doing it, obviously, they don't want to have repetitive strain injury from clicking all the Pathways Prime stuff. But it's been really encouraging. And if I can help 2 people who get to the 30 days consecutively to instill these habits in them going forward, then I've done what I set out to do, really. So yeah, I think I just delivered a sermon of about 10 minutes. I know. I do apologise. I don't even think I breathed the whole time.
Have a drink.
Yeah, one sec.
No, it's actually good, because the echoes from my end, so the more you talk and the less I talk, everybody will prefer it, no doubt.
Perfect. More me.
You know what, dry pasta, my corner shop has got loads of it. The corner shop's got everything. When you go to like Co-op, Tesco, all the rest of it, hasn't got anything.
No, I haven't
shop
been.
Local.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm the biggest pioneer for the shop local movement. I go to the Lake District and I refuse to go to Costa, Starbucks, when there's so many coffee shops that are independent, run by people, families, and I just think, no, you can't do it. Don't shop with chains when you go places. That's the rule, guys.
Always go to the local cafe, absolutely.
Absolutely.
No, I'm with you on that one, because for me, and I think everyone's probably had ups and downs, and I know I have, and I always thought I'm pretty bulletproof. You know, glass is always half full, positivity coming out the roof. And then it was, for me, it was after the long bank holiday weekend. And I don't know if it's just because I took more time off than a normal weekend, but I was like quite down on the Tuesday and then the Wednesday, and then got my head back in the game. And Thursday and Friday I finished really strong, and this week I've been flying the whole way through.
Good. Yeah, we all do have ups and downs. No one's invincible, and that's something that I always used to think. So you have this analogy when you're younger, I think, of thinking that other people are special people. So like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, like, oh, well, I can't do that because he's a special person, and they don't get sad because they're special people, and they do things that are incredible that we can't do. But the key to leveling up, which is quite an American phrase, which I enjoy, is to bridge the gap between yourself and these people that we look up to so much. You've got to realise that they're human, and the only reason they've got to where they've got to is by being so. So that's something that I learned quite quickly, that everyone's human, and it's just how we choose to apply ourselves and our daily habits that get us to where they've got as well.
Yeah, I had one of those moments, like when you came down for my Entrepreneur Summit, very kindly, to speak in Bournemouth, and we had the likes there of Lush founder Rowena Bird, Grenade founder Al Barrett, ex-Dragon Piers Linney, and after a couple of beers like we had afterwards, you just realise everybody's the same at the end of the day. Everybody's got their own worries and their own problems, and they're all working 24/7 as well. Like Al, non-stop, and you see how much he's on LinkedIn answering people's questions and stuff like that. Stephen Bartlett's another one.
Yeah, he's great. I listened to his latest podcast yesterday. And that was really, really good. He hasn't done one for a while, but it was a very welcome podcast. I would recommend that actually for anyone who's also feeling a bit like uncertain about these times. I can't remember what it was called, but it's the most recent one that he did.
The Diary of a CEO.
Yeah, Diary of a CEO, and he just talks about the coronavirus and how it's making him feel. And it just makes you think, this guy's running a multi-million-pound company, and he's still feeling bit uneasy. He doesn't know what the future holds, so you're not on your own in that. And I think that's so important, because a lot of people will be feeling the same, but you don't voice it, so you're not going to feel like anyone else is feeling the same as you.
That's a good point. So let's deviate down that route a minute. So I agree. So people are scared, people coming from a place of fear, people are anxious. And I think you can see that a lot with social media, and people's reactions seem to be amped up to like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
What's your experience been since you've come back from holiday? What, probably 4 or 5 weeks ago now, I guess?
Yeah. I think people are online a lot more, and people's responses can be a little bit more unreasonable than they would normally have been in normal circumstances, because people are obviously feeling just a little bit uncertain, and therefore with their responses to things they might be responding in ways that they wouldn't usually, just because they are feeling not great in themselves. And you often find that happens on social media, but there's a lot more people online. I've noticed that it's quite hard in terms of, yes, it's great if you've got a product business that can be sold online, but just note that because everyone is now selling online, Facebook ads, you are having to put a lot more money in order to be seen by people, because everyone's battling for that ad space on there. So it's an interesting one at the moment, with the correlation of people on social platforms and in like the byproducts of business that sometimes you don't think of. You just think, oh great, like we'll just move things online, but that doesn't come without its hurdles. But yeah, I found that engagement's gone up in terms of on our social media business platform for sure. And this is something that I would actually like to, Alex, I've just seen your plug of Creat, just do it podcast. You love that, almost as good. It is a very good podcast of yours as well. I recommended that on my newsletter,
You in our top 10 most downloaded episodes. Yeah.
Boom! Buzzing about that. Sorry, I'm getting off the point.
Digress.
Yeah, I digress. So yeah, that's something that I would recommend. If you own a business social media platform, I would just throw out of the window your social strategy, because you need to make a new one. And the new strategy that I've been using for m+LK+ that seems to be working is to be posting light-hearted things about the virus that obviously aren't offensive at all, but they allow people to think, oh, I've been feeling like that, and they can have a laugh. And obviously we're not taking away how serious the situation is, but it just gives some people something to smile about. So our engagement's gone up. If you're asking questions on your social pages, so like who agrees ? Then people are more likely to comment, oh, me. Whereas if you just put a statement like, haha, this made me laugh, no one's gonna be like, me too. You know, you have to ask a question for people to engage and answer. Now is a great time to be building up your social media platforms, because everyone's online. You should, if you have a product business, be sending out products, if it's a relatively low cost product, to micro influencers, as many people as you can, to get people talking about your product during this time, because people love to be sent things to their home address, and influencers now will be more likely to post it on the stories because they've got more time to. So I would really, really recommend doing that.
Good idea. And you supply some of your products to the NHS for the new initiative, is that right?
Yes. So that's gone really well, actually. As a small business, I feel like it's really important to do your bit and to prove that you are recognising how hard these frontline workers are working. So we're matching all of our orders until the end of the month. So if you buy a box of 4 milks or 8 milks, we'll match 4 and 8 milks at the other side, which has gone amazingly. You'll always get people that are, really just cynical. Like I've had someone on LinkedIn like, oh, you're just doing it for publicity. It's like, I have not asked anyone to post a photo. I've not said, oh, have these and then post a photo. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like it never would for me. So people just sometimes want to see the bad in what you're doing, but ultimately we're not earning money this month because we're giving it back in terms of all orders we're giving out on the other end, which I just think is the right thing to do. Just proving that even though you're small, you can still do something, even if it's something really small. We've delivered to 9 hospitals so far, and we've got another list of about 7 or 8 for this next week.
Awesome.
So it's great. I would say our social responsibility as a business is at the forefront of our values and what's important. So
Nice. A question that's come through. So I've got like a private ask a question button here, and for some reason I only see it, not the speaker, whereas it should be the other way around. Anyway, where online do you find best to advertise at the moment?
So where online? I would probably say Facebook is okay, but you're obviously, as I said before, having to spend a bit more in order to see results. And I would say if you can partner up with other brands, so I'm partnering up, and this is like a form of marketing that's a bit unusual, not loads of people do it, but it's a cheap way of tapping into another business in the same sector. It's another way of tapping into their audience. So I'm partnering up with the Great British Porridge Company, which was seen on Dragon's Den. So she's sending me porridge sample sachets, and we're putting them in our boxes, and then we're putting m+LK+ in her boxes. So cool. We're basically swapping customer bases, putting leaflets in, call to action. So here's a discount code for these specific customers, make them feel special, and we'll see what comes of that. But it's a very cheap way. All it's costing you is the product. So it's great for companies that have light products, so like sachets or bars, and companies that want to tap into a like-minded customer base. So that's I suppose it's not technically online, but it is through online sales, so I'd recommend that 100%.
I think it's always a great way to scale a business is through partnerships like that, because exactly what you said, you're tapping into a different database.
Exactly, and we did that with Alana as well, Ridiculously Rich by Alana, and this was before coronavirus. We did that for Valentine's Day, so we put her peanut butter fudge bars, oh, so good, into the ones that made it into the boxes, did really well. I think I put on about a stone when we did that partnership. It's not good for the waistline, so I would really recommend tactically going for health products, not brownies. But that did go really well, and then we gave the milks for her to give out at her bakery, which was great. It just enriches the boxes. The customer feels like they're getting value in that they get not only getting your product, they're getting another product, and the other business owner gets value from your customers seeing the product. It's exposure, and it's really cheap. In the US, they call it a double dip.
Didn't know that. Yeah, I love that.
I didn't know that.
Nice.
Interesting. Great marketing.
And for your business then, sort of approximately what? Approximately. Online to offline. Obviously, you're in all the Holland & Barrett stores, and you say now they're just prioritising stuff like vitamins, are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd probably say we were 50-50 maybe. And now obviously we'll never be 100% online because the product is a grab and go in nature. But I have to say, like, online is a completely different ball game. And Amazon obviously is good for us. And what's good about Amazon is that we can get the Amazon Prime badge, which means that, you know, people get instant gratification. One thing I've learned, if anything, from taking the product online, is that as soon as someone orders something, they want it straight away, because I know what I'm like when I order a parcel. I order it and then I'm sat by the window waiting for it to arrive. So we had on our website, we had like delivery 5 to 7 days, and no one was ordering because that's just too long. Even in these times, you just got to make it faster. Even if it costs you more, you've got to get the product to the consumer. They don't want to wait, otherwise they just won't buy. And do bundles. So we've just brought out a mixed box on the website, which I always said that I didn't want to do, because it means that obviously when someone was going to be buying a box of strawberry and a box of honeycomb, it means now that they're just buying the one box. But I feel like as a customer, I would want the mixed box. So I took a step back and thought, we'll put commercials to the side and actually give people a chance to try the product and then return and repeat buy. So play around with things. This is the time to play around with things, because you never know. You might tweak something and then boom, you know, it blows up.
Have a drink. You wanted a drink. You held it. You put it back. Have a drink. But it's funny, isn't it? Like consumer behaviour, we've now been almost trained because of Amazon Prime that if it doesn't arrive in 24 hours, we're hacked off about it. We don't want to wait any longer.
Exactly. Yeah, it is annoying. Amazon has set the bar so high. But my product is quite a heavy product because it's obviously a milk, and there's 4 in a box, which makes it heavy and therefore incurs larger costs. So it's not the ideal product for shipping online as such. It's better for grabbing and going, but the margins are good online. We've changed our prices as well. This was something that we did when other companies were putting their prices up because of demand. We put our prices down, so I slashed the prices. I think they were $11.99, and now I've put it down to $8.99, which I just thought, you know what, people are wanting things. And now I've noticed online, people are not so much buying one box, they're buying 2 or 3 boxes because they want to stock up, which is an interesting consumer trend that I would imagine would carry on for a while, actually.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was chatting to CEO of Huel yesterday, James McMaster. I don't know if you know James. I know you know Julian.
Yeah.
And he was saying, like, their behaviour, that you've obviously got people on subscription, like a huge amount of people on subscription.
Yeah.
And he was saying, like, when it first hit, people were bringing forward their subscriptions. If their subscription was in May, they were bringing it forward to March, things like that, and they were buying double.
Oh wow, yeah. They'll be killing it. I spoke to Julian actually, and he said, yeah, sales have just rocketed for them, but they were in a great position. They're not reliant on retail, which I think is great. Like, luckily we weren't reliant, so it wasn't 80% of our sales, whereas I know a lot of businesses were reliant. But you never know, like, people might go back to normal in terms of trying things like new products on the shelves. We just don't know. It changes day by day, week by week, so it's hard to make assumptions of what's going to happen. But it's crazy times. It's a really odd time to launch a business, I would say, but there's a lot of opportunity. So if you're smart, if your business is online, you can do well, I think.
Well, on that note, you know, Sabrina, who was also on a certain TV program, and she launched a business, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, and she was messaging me Tuesday because I'm looking for investment now because it's literally gone berserk. Shoppingslot.co.uk, just to give her a plug. But they had over 1 million website visits in the first 72 hours.
Wow. Yeah, that is good.
Insane, isn't it?
Yeah. If they can manage to monetize it, then
exactly.
Great. You know, it's solving a problem, but is the problem gonna
continue, isn't it?
We'll see. But it's an interesting business model for sure. I've had a bit of a look, and it's good.
So what your thoughts? Anybody probably got another 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes maybe, and then you're a busy lady. I've got another webinar as well. Any questions, guys? Got anything you want to ask Bill before she goes? What are your thoughts? I don't know all the time, but what are your thoughts on consumer and business behaviour? And it's just the uncertainty, not knowing when it'll be over, and like again in the press, is going to be here. Stuff like that. Yeah, what are your thoughts on consumer behaviour? Do you think things are going to?
Yeah, I think now is for businesses. I think it's a strange time, and it will be difficult to get investment for people. So that's something that I think will be huge. Like seeders campaigns, that'll have a knock-on effect on businesses. I think that people will establish a new norm, as they always do. Humans, as a faculty, are very quick to adapt to new situations. So I think we're doing good in terms of adapting and staying positive as a nation. It's just a matter of staying away from press and scaremongering and all of that. I keep getting distracted because there's some guy climbing over my gate on CCTV. And I'm just wondering why he's doing that.
Have you got a gun?
No, I haven't. I've got a water gun, which we'll have to do. So yeah, I think people are just a little bit scared to spend the money. So I think no one's going to really invest for a while. I think that people are going to be careful in the stocks and shares. The market has completely crashed. So I just think for a while people are going to hold off spending until they absolutely can spend again. Obviously, there was a spike in online shopping and loungewear, for instance.
Yes,
who have really they've switched up the game and mainly do loungewear now on the site, which is really smart. So it's just about being. Pardon?
You just get changed out of your onesie before we came up.
Yeah, I did. You know what? You got to look the part in order to deliver things like this. You can't do it in your onesie. Absolutely. So yeah, no, I don't think things will go back to normal straight away, but I do think we'll establish a new norm and people will start to spend the money probably towards the end of the year. People will want holidays. The desire for a holiday will override any desire to save, I think, because people are instant gratification. They want a sun holiday. They want to let their hair down, and quite rightly,
That's exactly what I want. I saw your friend Sian posted the other day that this is what I wanted to holiday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thinking about Ibiza already, something like that. Like you said, warm with a beach, warm waters. I
was booked to go to Ibiza. When was it? 20th of June, so that's not happening, is it? That's it's
No.
a shame, but it needs to. As long as I get my money back.
Well, this is it. This is the tricky thing. Like my wife's been in Vegas this week, and somebody was on a webinar with me yesterday, and they were a travel agent, and they were saying, herein lies the problem. Customers like my wife are phoning up saying, can I have my money back? Because I was going to a conference there. Conference is not happening anymore. Travel agent is saying that the airline won't have enough money to refund the customer.
Yeah, big problems actually. And I suppose you're getting your money back, but you're potentially bankrupting a company. It depends who. You've got to be mindful of that. I know a lot of my friends are saying, oh, I need my money back, like we'll kick off. And then I'm more thinking like, I would like my money back, obviously, but if it's at the cost of sending a small business under, we booked with, it was a big company, so it's not quite the same, but you just got to be mindful of who you booked with, and just sometimes have a little bit of leeway. I would say that it might take a bit longer. Like a lot of people, there's a business on Instagram called Bex Fast. They do breakfast pots, and I think they've had to stop altogether. And some people have already ordered, but they're not going to get their pots for a while, obviously months. And they're a really small business, but they've got a great fan base, and the customers have kind of agreed, like, keep my money and just send it me when everything's okay. And I think, when it's a breakfast pot and it's cost you $12.99, it's better to support a business for $12.99 so that they're going to exist when we're out of this, than having that $12.99 in your pocket. So just be mindful. Obviously, every penny counts, but small business and being a part of something that you want to continue to exist after this is equally important, if not more so.
Yeah, and on that note, I used to work for Virgin Atlantic, and the amount of vitriol and bad press that Richard's getting, unfortunately, yet if you actually speak to the people who work for it, I know thousands of people who still work for Virgin, they asked to have 2 months' wages deferred, spread out over 6 months, if it meant saving the airline. They all looked at it as this is a dream job. We get to fly around the world with our friends, stay in hotels and get paid to do it. We'd rather take that hit.
Yeah, but, absolutely.
It's an easy target living on an island.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised he even knows what's going on. Do they have Wi-Fi there?
Yeah.
I need to go. If I'm not there, if I've not paid Richard a visit by 2030, then I'm doing something wrong.
But one of the ladies in my podpreneur group, I've got this free Facebook group called Podpreneur. She based down in Australia, and she has about 30-40 people a year in her island.
Wow.
That's successful.
Wow, that is crazy.
Last question for you then, maybe, Neil, is what are some of the challenges of owning a small business? Big question.
Yeah, that is a big question, and a good question. So the main challenges, I'll touch on those first. I would say, making sure that you're ahead of the curve in terms of innovation. That's really important. It's a massive challenge because you will always see a business that's doing more or better than you, but you've got to remember that they have a lot more money and investment behind them. So I think the main challenge is trying to stay lean, but also staying ambitious. So it is challenging to get the balance right between, keeping your overheads really low and being able to grow at the same time organically. So obviously I didn't get £250,000 from Lord Sugar, so you've got to find alternative routes, and it's challenging, but it really does encourage out of the box thinking that I think, if you have got that money behind you, you're not being as innovative or, as smart with things. If you've got 250 grand, you would get a little bit silly with it, I think. I wouldn't personally, but you can get a little bit silly with it. And I would also say another challenge is, especially if you're a little bit, doesn't matter what age you are in the business, but being able to juggle things. Obviously, doing everything yourself is a real challenge because you don't want to get your ego in the way by having a big HQ, loads of employees, So yeah, you've just got to be careful that you don't burn out when running a small business, because it can be really challenging. I haven't burnt out yet, but that's mainly because I've got some good daily habits, which you will see if you follow Pathways Prime, which, by the way, is completely free. I had someone messaging me saying, how much is the spawn for this? Like, and I was like, this is my own program that I've spent a lot of hours devising and sharing with people for nothing, just because I think it will help. So I'm only plugging it because I know that it will help you. It's not monetized at all.
It will. You know, I've done something similar as you know for 75 days, and 100%. I'm actually looking forward to doing it again on May the 1st. I'm starting again on May the 3rd. I am because I'm better. I'm better within myself when I've got that structure.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely. No, I'm the same. My morning routine, morning affirmations. I read minimum 10 pages of a book. Usually drink a little bit more water than this. I just nearly dropped
come on, pick it up.
The computer. And yeah, 45 minutes of exercise a day. Eat your 5 a day. Do an act of kindness. It can be as small as bringing someone a cup of tea, sending a nice message. Put your phone away an hour before bed minimum. And I've missed one out, which I can't remember what it is, but you'll have to go and see. It's all the info's on my Instagram. Though there's another question there, isn't there?
There's a couple, yeah. Can you see them? How do you find customers? How to find customers if not a lot of people want to start projects at the moment? How do you find customers?
Okay, so I would say, so this is probably more for services, I would imagine, like web designers and things like that, if no one's wanting to start projects. To be honest, I think that it will own renovations. Okay, interesting. So I would say use this time if people are genuinely not wanting to start projects, and you've actually gone out and tested that and asked people, and the general consensus is that no one is, then I would genuinely look at your, all the internal things of the business that you've not had time to do. So your brochures, all of your pricing structures, all of that, or see if you can offer something that's attractive, and you can undercut people and prove that you can still do the work. A lot of people might think that you're not doing renovations. So if you are open for business, make that known. Go old school, do flyers, do anything that's low cost, start up a free, like you've done with Podpreneur. You can always do like Facebook groups of or like inspiration pages on Instagram of renovations. Tweak your Instagram if you've got one of some of your work. Just really use it to showcase your work, and don't do it as a hard sell. Just show people what you're doing and say and maybe if the general consensus is that no one's wanting to do them, be like, we know no one's in a position now, and we're not pressuring you at all. We hope everyone's focusing on, getting through this time, but we'll be here for you when this is all over. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and just to reiterate that as well, I'm the same as you. I think whatever you can do to keep in touch with your existing customer base, so that when things change, you're at the forefront of their mind. And that could be, like you say, creating content, be that a podcast, a blog. Have you thought of that? I don't know what your content is like. And an interesting one that popped up on another webinar, this might give you an idea, wasn't renovations, but it was like a grand designs company. Amazing house, clearly at the moment. Who's going to spend money on an amazing house from scratch? And we kind of a bit of back and forth with a few ideas, and he came up with the idea, the chap who runs this company, that he was going to run a competition for kids to design their dream home, and the winner would get an Amazon toys, and the parents would get the dream house drawn up, drawings and everything. And I think that was a really cool way.
Yeah.
Keep in touch with your customers, attract new customers at the time, and generate a bit of PR. With a local bargain.
Yeah, there's a lot of PR opportunities in this time, especially with local papers, as you say, because as much as everyone is talking about coronavirus, other stories of people doing good things throughout this period are very well received, and not loads of people are doing them actually. So now is the time to be your own PR agent. You don't need a big PR agency to get some coverage. But yeah, I think that's a really good piece of advice there, Alex.
Thank you. Yeah, on that tip as well, I'll talk to you for hours, as we had before. Just me doing that, getting like 13 people, 500 now. 2 BBC radio stations, 2 newspapers, and I didn't even contact them. They just added different Facebook groups and seeing me post on another group, my group, entrepreneur group, or what's on group in your area. So definitely worth making that your focus at the moment. Last question, and then we'll let you carry on building the empire. Is can you discuss the importance of preparing for bounce back? There is a chat. Bounce back is not whenever that happens, and marketing will brand. Yeah, maybe any thoughts on? Do you think there is going to be a bounce back? That's the question, I suppose, and what you're doing to be in a position to market your brand. Because I guess when bounce back happens, you want to with your new product development.
Yeah, so it's very important to prepare for coming out of this, because it's inevitable. We're not going to be in this forever, and that's something that we need to remember. It's all about timing. So I think a lot of companies will really suffer and will struggle to come out from this, and it's such a sad reality that, you know, but it is going to happen. But only the strong survive, only the nimble, only the ones that are thinking outside of the box will survive. But when they do, I hope that they'll have fire in their bellies, because I know that that will be the case for me. And hopefully we can get our 3rd product launched and out there for people to buy, because obviously I've spent a lot of money on getting it ready to launch, and now we've not been able to launch it and get that revenue in. So yeah, it's tough, but you've just got to remember, you know, the phoenix rises from the ashes. When things are really shit, pardon my French, that's when you really do thrive under pressure sometimes. So a lot of people will come out of this maybe stronger, because they'll have had a lot of resilience. And yeah, your marketing strategy, you just need to be innovative with it and make sure you're standing out from the rest of the people that are also preparing to bounce back. But yeah, just make sure you use this time to prepare for that, because it is going to come, and sooner than you think. I'm really jealous of all the people actually who have this time to really work on themselves and work on a project or the business, because at the minute I just feel like I'm firefighting. It's only been this week that I've been able to actually make plans for the future, instead of just trying to make sure things don't go AWOL. So if you are on this webinar and you're thinking, you know, I've got hardly anything to do today, what shall I do? Like TV, shall I do this? Obviously that's fine, do that for a few hours, and then get out a flip chart or a piece of paper and just brain dump a load of things that maybe you can do, or you think would lead to something, or not lead to anything at all, but are just going to inspire you and ignite a fire in your belly. So yeah, that's what I would say to you guys, and I'm mega jealous. If anyone wants to help with M+Plus, then give me a holler.
There you go. Camilla Ainsworth on Instagram.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you guys. Thanks so much for listening.
Lots of love. Lots of love coming your way. Thank you, Costadina, Phoebe, Emma, Lawrence, Olivia, loads of people there. And I agree with you. The amount of CEOs I've spoken to with these webinars, they've used this opportunity to get a blank piece of paper. So why have we done this for the last 30 years in marketing? If we actually started now from scratch with a brand new business, what would we do? We go online and you know, YouTube, would do podcasts, you know, literally looking at blank paper perspective and going, this is a new opportunity. What could we do differently? HR, be at home, in the office in the corner, you know, what could you do differently? So
absolutely.
It's a good time to do that. Be kind words, madam. We will go this conversation, no doubt, later this week via WhatsApp or whatever.
Cool. Yeah, thanks so much for having me, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. I'm
Thank
not
you
sure
very
how
much.
to leave now.
Take care, everybody.